of Power BI, what Power BI is capable of. Now, if you can just let me know, and in Q&A, if you can answer. Yes, so Nilesh, thanks a lot. Hassan is interested in AI and data science. Okay, fine, that's great. Okay, before we move ahead, we are a group of professionals who are doing multiple training programs around the world and lots of projects. We have trained 150,000 people around the world, and we are a very good name in AI as well as data science. And we have done more than 100 AI and data science projects and more than 5,000 Lean and Six Sigma projects around the world. And yeah, so what I would do is I will hand it over to Pranay. If you can just switch on your screen, and if you can share your screen and take us through today's agenda. And I hope the chat is enabled, and if it is enabled, or otherwise you can write in the Q&A the questions. Yes, so today this is the agenda, and Pranay, please, you can take it from here. Welcome, Pranay.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for that introduction. All right, welcome everyone. Just a quick introduction from my side. I'm Pranay, and I'll be walking you through multiple different features in Power BI to show you how easy it is to pick up these different techniques, different features, and utilize them together and have a really productive report building strategy, as well as automation made available to you on your fingertips with just clicks. So again, over a period of the next 1.5 to 2 hours, you'll have a quick understanding of, just by using your mouse button, you end up creating very interactive reports. And at the same time, see, again, in terms of reporting, it's not just visually pleasing, right? There are multiple components in it. You need to understand the data, you need to make it visually pleasing, and at the same time, you need to have a storyline attached to it. Again, a couple of things that we miss out when we think about reporting is we need to make sure that the same report can be utilized again. Right? I'm not talking about the template. I'm also talking about the entire format, the entire presentation. Right? So in this current age, again, a lot of us have been working on multiple different tools like Excel, right? I believe most of us have worked on Excel. We have created charts, we have created reports on Excel, correct? And what's the biggest issue that we face when we work with Excel? Number one issue that we face is you cannot go ahead and automate or redesign it as per a different data set, right? You cannot utilize the same visualizations. You cannot just copy paste and make sure everything just runs smoothly, right? What do? You have to end up creating another visualization or another report. Now, as in when your data changes, you need to make sure that your data is cleaned and then pushed into a different sheet. Probably, again, one of the practices that we used to follow was, and again, most of the time it was a bad habit, we used to clean the data manually. Each and every time we received it, we had to manually sit and clean it, make sure everything is ready, then verify the data, and then push it to different reporting strategies. Right now, over here today, you will understand how Power BI makes your life much easier when it comes to automating your reports, making sure your storylines are up to date, at the same time making sure as and when your data is being updated or changed, how Power BI easily adapts to such scenarios. So again, yes sir.
Yeah. So I just would like to, because I today I would assume the role of the person who would be reading out the chats and Q&A, and some of the things before, like we'll incorporate, of course. So one of you is telling that we are, yeah, of course. So we are recording the sessions, and we will be giving you the recording. Those who stay till the end, we'll be sending you a link, and you can always keep watching this recording as many times as possible. No worries, don't worry. And one of towards the end, yes. Praveen Kumar is asking the Power BI licensing part, please include in the session. Yeah, towards the end, if we have time, we'll be happy to do that. And we have got okay, Sheikh Abdul saying I have got exposure to data science, so that's great. So now you will see how to present the data. So the data science is one thing, and if you are those who are interested, in fact, we have got a recording. I have I've done a 2-hour session on the data science and artificial intelligence, and 2-hour recording is available on YouTube as well. So those who want, you can just directly go and see after this training. You can always go and have a look at that. But we do conduct live artificial intelligence data science programs, and we'll be happy to invite you further. Those who have shown the interest, we'll be happy to invite you there. But just to give you a brief idea, those who are totally new to Power BI, see, Power BI is a way of presenting your data. See, you have got a lot of data, you may have analyzed it, but unless you present it properly to the management or the senior management or to your clients or to your customers, unless you do that, it is of no use. So the data should tell a story. Data should tell what the person who is interested in data analytics, what he's supposed to do, which decision he should be taking. Now, unless you present the data properly, analyzing the data correctly makes no sense. So Power BI is capable of analyzing the data and presenting it so well that you can manage your operations, you can make your decisions, and if you're running a business, then you can also promote your business or improve the revenues of your business or your organizations just by analyzing and presenting the data perfectly well. I will not go into the details of AI and data science in this training program, although I would have been very happy to do that. But today we'll focus on the Power BI part, the presentation part. So once we have analyzed the data, once our machine has been trained, and once everything is, and Power BI itself has got lots and lots, it has got a lot of job potential today in the market. A lot of professionals are required, and the Power BI guys, they are all part of the data science environment or ecosystem, as we might call it, and future belongs to this ecosystem. So I don't have to tell you that. You must have read in Google and so many places that the next decade belongs to data science. And Power BI is an important ingredient of the data science. There's one very good slide coming up. Pranay will explain towards the end of this training session how Power BI fits into the into the data science, and what weightage a Power BI professional carries in today's world and the future world. So yeah, over to you, Pranay.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for that, Amitav sir. And you are absolutely right. And I'm also glad that one of the participants brought up data science into this. So over a period of time, I will be pointing out or highlighting a couple of different features that blend in with data science as well. So if you do look again in the future, you do look into going into either development phase, or if you are interested in learning the high ends of analytics and AI, Power BI has a major contribution when it comes to your data science field as well. So it's you would see a lot of different automation potential where you'll have integration with various softwares, various platforms, how easy it is by just clicking and dragging and dropping contents, how easy it makes such complicated things. it makes such complicated things very easy. That's what I was trying to say. But yes, that being said, we'll just quickly jump on to the agenda for today. So again, we'll be introducing Power BI to you. Just a couple of brief history. We won't spend a lot of time into that. And right after that, I gladly want to jump to looking at the data. We will start with an Excel data set, a very simple, very easy to understand data set. And then I'll walk you through a couple of different features and how Power BI benefits just by using that simple data set, how you can benefit from your analysis as well. Right, so we'll be doing a couple of things. We'll be creating a couple of visuals, a couple of simple visuals. We definitely won't deep dive into the complex visuals right away. We will then look into creation of KPI cards. Now, this is something very interesting. We will show you a couple of different steps over here as well. KPI is very important part of any industry, right? So to understand KPIs, they're simply report cards, right? So as and when you find issues in your process, how do you tackle them? That's the main question that everyone has. How do you tackle them? How do we improve? Why did it go wrong, right? All of these are answered by using Power BI as well. So you will be looking into a couple of different contents over here. We'll look into Power BI tooltips. We'll look into certain automation techniques using Power BI as well. And finally, we'll upload a report to Power BI workspace. So we won't just stick to a Power BI desktop workspace. We'll move on to a cloud workspace, and I'll try to present to you how simple it is to even create a report, publish a report, and then share it across with n number of users, right? And again, as Amitabh sir had mentioned regarding licensing, don't worry, we will definitely go ahead and answer that as well. We'll try to push it towards a little later in the session where we have the Q&A part as well. We'll try to push it till then. But yes, again, if it does come up in between, definitely we'll go ahead and answer that as well. All right, to quickly start off with, again, what is Power BI, right? I mean, a lot of you might know just the basics, what is happening in Power BI. Okay, it's a visualization tool. Is it just a visualization tool? Well, not always. Again, it depends upon use cases, but majority of the times Power BI will be utilized for automation. And what type of automation is this? It is going to be specific to report building. Yes, business intelligence tool. So it'll be focused upon reporting, but does it only automate or refresh your data from time to time? Does it only, just show visualizations and leave it as it is? No, Power BI will be used to gather insights from your data. You will deep dive into your data. So Power BI provides you multiple features that lets you do these type of options, right? So drilling down into your data, drilling down into specific categories, finding out reasons why certain event is occurring, right? So these type of contents are easily made available on Power BI, and it's all by clicks. And very soon once we jump into the demo, you'll actually notice how simple it is to utilize Power BI and learn and study Power BI as well. Right, so let's quickly jump on to the next one. Again, I promise you this is the only slide where you will find text content. After this, we are just jumping onto the demo. All right, so quick history about Power BI. Again, yes, it is a business intelligence tool. Again, in terms of Power BI, it has two major platforms. One is a desktop version, the other is a cloud version. Don't worry, all of this is going to get much easier once we move ahead, right? Desktop version is basically the developer version where you will do all of your dirty work, right? You'll get your hands messy with the data. You'll try to look into different visuals. You'll try to create a storyline. Cloud-based platform is going to be a platform where all of your management will look into and utilize your reports, right? So again, your major requirements are to reason out why issues are happening or why are defects happening in your processes. So cloud-based platform will be utilized and it'll be easily accessible to everyone. So Power BI again balances it out very well. Now, in terms of the origin, again, you have Terry and Amir who again, they were from the Microsoft SQL Server team, and this is way back in 2009, 2010. And over a period of time, Power BI was initiated and it was called Project Crescent. But officially it released as per Microsoft Power BI tool in September 2013. Now, a lot of things do come up over here. A lot of comparisons do come up with respect to other BI tools. We'll look into that at a later stage. But what we are going to do now is we're just going to go ahead and get our hands dirty. We want to quickly jump into the actual data, right? So let me just give me a second by the time I share my screen. All right. Perfect. So I hope you are able to see the Excel sheet right now. And a lot of you might have flashbacks.
Thank you. Able to see this. Yeah, and some of the people who have just recently joined, I would like to again repeat the same thing that this is being recorded, and you will get the recording. And this is, I think, Amir was asking about it. So welcome, Amir, and also just to tell you that. You will also be able to get a certificate of the introduction to Power BI. One certificate, so we'll tell you towards the end how to get the certificate. The link also will be providing it to you. And those who have shown interest in data science and artificial intelligence, we have already given a link. So if you are interested in our free data science and artificial intelligence program, you can register there as well. Yes. So here we go. Yes. So we have gotten Excel sheet. I would say meaningless Excel sheet. Oh, I should not say that, meaningless. But yeah, it is meaningful. But it's very difficult to derive meaning out of it, isn't it? So Pranay, would you like to simplify this a little bit for us, because to me, it looks like confusing Excel sheet, and it's boring Excel sheet, and to be very honest.
No, you're absolutely right. So it's been multiple years, and over a period of time, you just get tired of looking at data in this way, right? Now, let's just talk about key disadvantages, right? Again, all of us know the advantages of having data on the Excel, but what are the disadvantages? It's very difficult to deep dive in your data right now, correct? So if I tell you, or if I ask, all right, what happened in 2021 to your sales, right? Did it increase or did it drop? What's the first thing everyone does? The first thing we do is panic. Okay, wait, first thing, what do we need to do? 2021, what happened to the sales? Where's sales? Okay, sales is here. What do? I have to plot it, right? I have to go ahead and create a graph. All right, let's go ahead and do that on Excel. All right, we create a graph. We are done, correct? Now, what happens to a customer? A customer doesn't just stick to the question that they have, right? We don't just stick to the question that, okay, what happened in 2020? We have multiple other questions. We have back-to-back questions. We would say, okay, what happened in 2022 then? All right, we go ahead and create another graph. What happens next? We want to see, okay, what happened in a specific month of 2022 and 2021? How do you compare that? So again, these type of queries are not answered right away, correct? You would have to go back, you'll have to create specific visualizations, you'll have to create a report, you probably go ahead and create presentations as well. A lot of us have been doing that over the period of years, right? We create visuals on Excel, we push it to PowerPoint presentation, and then we go ahead and look into the data. But a customer then goes into another process of deep diving, right? They want to reason out more. Yes, it is an analyst's responsibility to deep dive, but this process makes it much difficult, right? Looking at this data, how many rows of your data? Yes, all right, we get that, but how many products are there? How many segments are there? What is the meaning of, what are the meaning of these particular columns? Why do you need a month-on-month analysis? Why do you need a year-on-year analysis? There's so many things that come into play, right? And just going ahead with that process, what do you do? You have to start your process. You need to have a workflow, right? You need to have a determined analysis. Like, okay, I'm going to present to you a month-on-month analysis. I probably won't look into a year-on-year analysis. And the key challenge over here is there are a lot of opportunities where you miss out the analysis, right? You miss out the deep dive. there could be a different perspective of a customer. There could be a different reasoning for a customer, right? Again, this all depends upon years of experience, domain knowledge, and such. That's absolutely correct. But in this current age, you need to be flexible, right? You need to adapt to different domains. You need to make sure that you're able to provide your end customer the specific output, or at least give them a platform that helps them understand that specific output. Correct. So here we are going to look into Power BI. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, just to give you a quick gist of what this data is. It's nothing but a financial data set. It's just a couple of products being sold under specific segments for different countries. You have number of units sold, whether there was a discount or not, what is the price, what's the sales amount, profit, date, and such, right? Just a very simple sales data that we have made available over here. We are not going to spend a lot of time here. I want to move to Power BI, right? I want to show you how interactive Power BI actually is. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly jump to Power BI. Just please give me a second, and I hope this is visible. Amitabh, sir, if you could please confirm.
Yeah, no, right now we still see the Excel sheet, and yeah, now it's visible.
Oh,
and by the way, we can include, like, we are assuming that many of you are already aware of how to download Power BI, but it's very, very easy. Very, very easy means very, very easy. It just takes 5 minutes. I think I'm not sure, even if it takes 5 minutes, Pranay, just let me know.
It's less than 5.
I think it's less
Yes.
than. Yeah, so you just go, if you want to demonstrate, you can just show us that, just in case anyone is interested. But it's so easy. In fact, if you Google out how to download Power BI on your laptop, you can do it yourself. So we can save that, we can save that time. So Ramakrishnan is telling we are aware. Okay, there are experts here. Okay, great.
No worries. But if you like, I'll just take a minute and I'll just
explain. Just show it.
Yeah,
show it.
that's
definitely aware. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
so
Jagdish is asking Power BI how to download. So let's show. No problem.
Yes,
we'll do that.
Yes. Perfect. All right. To download Power BI again, you don't have to do much. Just go to Google. Just type download Power BI. That's it. All right. Once you're doing that, just make sure that you're visiting the official Microsoft website. Now, again,
you have made it too simple.
Yes.
Just go to Google and say download Power BI. Okay, yes. So it can't be made more simple than that. So please go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, sir. So all you have to do is just click on the first link, which is powerbi.microsoft.com. And once you're here, again, this is the official Microsoft website. Make sure that you come down to the first section. So again, there are a lot of other features or components that come into play, right? You have mobile, you have gateways, you have on-premise, you have a lot of things. Don't worry about them at this point. When you do join our course, we'll be covering all of these topics, and we'll be talking about what are their importance and how to use them. Now, what we're going to do over here is you can click on download. Definitely you can do that. But if you ask me, I would suggest you to click on advanced download options. And there's a reason to it. Once you do that, it'll redirect you to another page. All right. Once it redirects you over here, all you have to do is select the language. Again, we are choosing English, but if you have any other preferred language, go ahead and do that. And you can just directly click on download. The previous download button did the same. But the reason why I did this is, if you just scroll down and click on details, Power BI provides you version details. So basically what ends up happening in Power BI is, and this is one of the major reason why Power BI is booming in the market. Power BI comes up with updates every 15 to 20 days. And when I say every 15 to 20 days, it has been doing this for the past multiple years. Right? So you can just imagine the amount of work and effort that the developers at Microsoft end are doing for Power BI, right? So the main reason why I was bringing you over here is to check the last published date, right? So you will always download the updated version, but this is one thing that catches your attention. And there are a lot of there's simple contents on what the updates are, and at the same time, what are the different features on Power BI desktop. But again, don't worry about it. All of this will be covered in our sessions as well. So go ahead and you can just click on download, and that's it. That's as simple as it is to download Power BI. Power BI desktop is a free version. Microsoft provides this to everyone. So again, don't worry about licensing costs. Don't worry about any other content. It's free, totally free, the desktop version. So you can go ahead and download it on your system. Now, one catch over here is that you will have to use or you'll have to have Microsoft OS. Again, if you do have a Mac, yes, there are different ways that you can go ahead and install Power BI. Again, if you do have that, it's a slightly lengthy procedure. But if you do have a Mac, if you do not have access to Microsoft OS, you can let us know. We can go ahead and help you out by providing you steps on that as well. All right. Again, Amitabh sir, I'm sorry, I'll have to depend upon you to check if there are any specific questions.
No, yeah, I'm just checking, and some people are saying I'm not able to hear, but we are able to hear. So no problem. Just check your, okay, if you're not able to hear, you can't hear me. So my team, if you can write a specific message to Arvind that, he can log out and log in. And those who are not able to hear in between, sometimes it does happen. There's some audio setting issues. Just log out and log in, and everything will be fine. So yes, here we go. Some beautiful pictures, colorful pictures. That's what is pleasing to the eyes. Not that Excel sheet. Sorry to say that. Excel sheet is important. Actually, it contains the raw data. And with great pain, someone has collected the data. So credit goes to these guys as well. And when we do our data science courses, we begin with how to collect the data, how to choose your features, and etc., etc. But right now, as we told you in the beginning, we are here to tell you the whole story the data has, the hidden story in the data. That's what we are going to reveal using Power BI. Yeah, here we go.
Definitely, sir. All right, perfect. So now that we are on Power BI desktop, again, for everyone who is going in and installing Power BI, once you do open Power BI, definitely you won't have these graphs made available. You will probably open up with a blank page like this. But don't worry. What we are going to do today is cover up a couple of different features, right? So let's start off with data. Right? We looked into the Excel data set, and again, it is the heart of the entire analysis. No one can deny that, right? So when we are going ahead with data upload, Power BI does give you an option to upload data from multiple different sources. Again, for this workshop, we're not going to deep dive into these different data sources, but just to give you an idea of how easy it is to pull in data from various different data sources, I can just simply scroll through all of these different data sources in front of you, right? So if you look at this, all of this is made available on Power BI. So if you have data stored on any of these data sources, it is easily made available over here. Now, again, obviously we were using Excel, so we'll go ahead and click on the Excel workbook. We can simply connect the data by just pulling in data from our from our storage, right? So we can just go ahead and choose a specific file and then upload the data. Now, again, obviously I won't be doing that because I have already done that for all of you. Again, to make things easier, I'll just quickly show you the raw data set that we had uploaded, right? So again, Power BI does not just create visualizations, right? It'll help you work on the data as well. So if you see over here, you can actually view the raw data set that we have uploaded. And if you realize this is the same data set that we have been working on, right? You have segment, country, discount, units sold, all of these contents are made available over here. Perfect. So again, we are going to stick to one data set. We'll talk about multiple data set in at a later stage today. But let's just get started with visualizations, right? So you see a lot of these colored visuals, right? You see a pie chart, you see a bar chart. Again, if I go to a different report page, you see again another bar chart, you see a donut chart, you see these filters, right? You see these different colors, different icons, you see this text content over here. All of this seems pretty at this point, right? But let me highlight, or let me show you how simple it is to make.
Yeah.
What I'm going to
And
do is,
yeah, and
yes,
Pranay,
yes.
just some of the participants are asking that can we have the raw data? So right now, the intention of this introduction to Power BI workshop is to just to show you the capabilities, because we would like to show you what exactly you would be capable of after you attend our 4 days of training program. Because in that program, we handhold and we give you all the data, and we do it very slowly, and we ask you to do it along with us. So we wait for you to complete each and every step so that you master Power BI. But the intention here right now is to more like introducing you to the Power BI, and what you would be capable of after attending a 4 days of course. So that's the intention. So don't worry about doing the analysis along with us, and you can just focus on what we are discussing, so that you will get a very, very good overview of Power BI. So yeah, you can, over to you. Yes.
Sure, sure. And so actually, to add on to what you have said, if anyone has any data on the system, just throw it into Power BI. Don't again, you don't have to follow me in today's workshop. Just throw it in, and then just listen to what I'm doing, just follow what I'm doing, and I'm sure after just another 1.5 hour, all of you would be playing around with Power BI. All of you will be just throwing in data, looking into different visuals, looking into different techniques as well. So just follow through what I'm going to do right now, and just give me a couple of seconds. I'm going to actually create different visualizations in front of you. All right, so I'm just going to go to a blank page right now. Everything is clean. There is nothing that is, there's nothing that's pre-created. Now, what we're going to do is we'll start off with a simple visual, right? A very simple visual, a very common visual, a bar chart, right? So what we're going to start off with is a simple bar chart. Again, if you see, just by clicking on this particular panel, right? So you see different visuals here. Again, I'm sorry, I can't zoom into this at this point, but I hope you can actually look or try to zoom in on your window to this particular section, and you see a lot of different visuals, right? And it's just a pre-cut visuals that are made available. So once you do click on it, what happens is this particular section pops up, right? There's this separate section on your canvas. You can call this as a canvas. This pops up. Now it's easy to resize this. There's nothing major that's happening over here, but look at the preview. You can clearly see what type of visual you will be creating. Correct? So you're gonna have one axis over here. You're gonna have one axis over here. Correct? So let's start off with a base. What do we need over here? Let's say I want to see. Let's say products, right? I want to see all of my products. Or let's say country. Let's start off with something very simple. Let's drag and drop in country on y-axis. Right? If you notice, I just clicked on country and I dragged and dropped it over here. That's it. Nothing else. No scripting, no headache, nothing. Right? Now, what do we want to see with country? I actually want to see profits, right? So I can drag and drop in the x-axis over here, and straight away I have a visualization created. Now it's easy to move around. I can just click, drag and drop it. I can resize it the way I want to. And it's as simple as that, right? It's as simple as just dragging and dropping content. Now, you might say, all right, Pranay, is that the only way? Well, actually, no. Power BI is smart enough to understand what type of visual that you want from the data that you upload. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on this visual. Again, we are back to basic. Let me just delete it. Let's go back to basic, right? Let's click on a bar chart. Let's just drag and drop it to the middle. Let's just increase the size. And now Again, we're going to create the same visual with a different technique. Instead of dragging and dropping, I'm just going to click on country and profit, right? I'm going to click on profit first. Here we go. And I'm going to click on country next. And right away, Power BI understood that you are looking into a category country and you're looking into a numerical variable of profit, right? Now, Power BI is smart enough to understand how you are also planning to aggregate data. So for example, here we have it marked as sum. You can go ahead and change it to average profit by country, minimum profit, maximum profit, and so on, right? But Power BI is smart enough to actually create such visuals on its own. Now, you might say, all right, Pranay, what if I want to change the color? What if I want to, go ahead with labels? All of these things are made available to you. Don't worry. And it's easily categorized. See, if you click on the visual, go to this format visual tab, you can go ahead and change content as per your requirement. So I can change, let's say, yeah, I'm not liking blue. I probably want to make it slightly orange, right? So you can just click on this straight away, go ahead with the color change. Probably you want to look into data labels, right? I want specific values over here. What do? You can click on it and you have data labels made available. Now, so far so good, right? What's the key difference here from Excel charts in this, right? Again, probably this is a different platform, makes it a little easy to drag and drop in data. There are a lot of other things that are happening over here. Let me just show you. Now, in this particular visual itself, you have profits by country, right? You see 3.8 million over here. You see 3.7 million over here, right? If I hover over this, I have a tooltip that is automatically created. If I hover over other bar charts, it automatically changes, right? It automatically changes into specific category. Now, what if, let's say, in this scenario, you actually want to compare it with your sales value, right? What if that is a scenario? Well, you don't have to worry much. You can just drag and drop in sales on your tooltip. Did anything happen on the visual? No, nothing changed, right? But if I now hover over this, just look at the difference, right? Now you can see the profit value and I can also see the sales value at the same time in the same visualization. Now you might say, Pranay, what if you want to see the sales value as another chart? Yes, those are also possible. You would probably be using clustered chart to make your presentation a little more neater, but yes, all of these are definitely possible in Power BI. Now let's go ahead with another example, right? Bar charts. All right, perfect, we are done with bar charts. Now I want to move on. Let's go ahead and create a, let's say, donut chart, right? A donut chart, again, it's similar to a pie chart, just a gap in it, right? So what we are going to do over here is, let's say we want the same data over here. So we have profits by country. Let's say we want sales by country and we want to represent it over here, right? So what we are going to do over here is we're just going to drag and drop in sales. So sales, we're going to drop it in values and we are going to drop in countries over here. And straight away, we have a very pleasant, easy to understand, easy to look at, and already we have legends created on this particular visualization, right? All of this comes up by default. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create one more visual and then I'm going to explain one new feature that comes into Power BI, which definitely is something very interactive, very helpful when you go ahead with analysis. So I'll probably go ahead and create an area chart, and under this particular area chart, I'm just going to expand it here. And under this, let's say I want to see my profits, right? I'm going to see my profits over what? I want to see it over a period, right? I want to see it throughout a specific timeline. So I'm going to drop in, not probably year, let's go ahead with month name, and let's arrange it with month number as well, right? So again, I'm just going to change this with let me just format this with month number for now. There's a way you can go ahead and format it with month name as well. I'll just quickly cover that in a bit. So just looking at this, what we can quickly see is we have different month numbers. Or actually, you know what? Let's make it a little more neater. Let's just drop in dates over here. Let's get rid of all of this. And let's just throw out all of these ones, right? So let's just go ahead from this. All right. Now, if you look at these particular visuals, all right, they're pretty by default. All right, you can change the size, you can do all of the content, you can plot it on a graph, but what else? Right? What happens now? I'm going to show you something that's going to actually make your life as well as your your consumer's life a little more easier when you're working with a large volume of data. Now, let's say we are looking into France, right? So France is something that we want to look into, and probably want to look into the trend for France as well, right? What happens? What happens right now? The first thought that comes into everyone's mind is, all right, Pranay, where's the filter? Right? Where's your slicer? Where's the filter that you have to select a specific country? Right? So far, we have not created any filter, right? But Power BI is interactive in nature. So if I click on France over here, I would see all of my visuals being filtered. So this is called cross filtering or dynamic filtering, right? So if you look at this, if I select France, the blue portion which is highlighted as France is being highlighted here, and this graph has actually changed. So if I unselect this, look at the below timeline, right? Look at this particular area chart. If I unselect this, there is a change. Yes, the data is quite close, so it might not be easily visible, but let's try in different countries, right? If I select Mexico, what happens? Right, straight away you see Mexico is being selected, and you see the graph change, right? In the July month, you see the least amount of profit as compared to others, right? If I select United States, you see a different area chart altogether, right? Look at this. So what happened over here? This is one key feature which makes Power BI very, very interesting and very favorable when you're going ahead with analysis. Power BI has this feature of cross filtering between different visualizations. So this helps you deep dive into your data. Now, let me give you another example, right? So let's say this visual, right now we have it as country. How about I change it by a specific product, right? Let's drop in a product over here. Why not? Now, straight away the visualization has changed. Let me just unfilter this. So you see these are different product lines that are made available. Now, again, don't worry, we are not spending time on cosmetics today. We're spending a lot more time on features, right? So if I click on Canada right now, what happens? Once we select Canada, we can quickly see what is the distribution for each product, right? The sales distribution for each product. At the same time, look at the content at the bottom, right? You can also see the profits by each month for that particular country. Now, what if I say I want to see Canada and I probably want to see VTT as well, right? What's the first thing that comes into everyone's mind? All right, Pranay, where's the filter? Right? Where's your filter? Where's your slicer? You have multiple filters. Let's go ahead and select that. Well, I'm not going to do that. Power BI lets you click or select or drill down into multiple different categories by just selecting the visuals. So if you just look at this point, I have selected Canada and I have selected VTT, correct? And you can clearly see all of the other visualizations change automatically. There's no code, there's no script, there's no magic that I've done. Power BI lets you do all of these with just simple clicks. All right, and this is just one feature. Just hold on. I'll show you a lot of different interactive features, and then they're going to make your, they're going to capture your interest, and you'll be surprised to what extent you can actually go ahead and create such form of filters and create such form of visualizations and automating reports. All right, so this is just a quick introduction on creating visualizations, right? So Power BI provides you a lot of different visuals. You have maps, right? You have different maps, you have Gauss chart, you have KPI cards, you have slicers, filters. Now, again, at the end of the day, we do need slices, right? You would need filters. So you would say, Pranay, all right, this is good enough, but I do need some representation of that particular filter, right? So let's go ahead and create that as well. And let me show you how simple it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tariq is asking, drill down is possible. Yes, it is. So we will be show you at a later stage, but just hold on for a moment. We are beginning with the introductory part first. So yes, Tariq, it is very much possible just to give you an answer. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. So you have multi-layered drill down that's available. We'll come to that in a bit. Let me just quickly cover up, some of the basic things that all of us have been observing, right? So we again, we can't get rid of a couple of different habits. So let's say filters, right? We want a slicer. So what we're going to do is just create a simple slicer, probably drag and drop in country over here, right? Change this to drop down just by that, and just resize it. Right now, again, please understand, I'm not getting into cosmetics much. I do want to spend a lot of time on features, right? So I'm just going to add a shadow so it's easily differentiated, and let's go ahead and create another one. So all I did was Control C, Control V, nothing else, right? Just copied the previous visual, just pasted it here, and now all I have to do is go ahead and drag and drop in product over here. Now let's do the same thing that we did over here on these visuals by using these slicers. These slicers or filters, you can call them, again, it's up to you. You can definitely call them filters as well. Now let's go ahead and filter content out. So we selected Canada, and the next thing we selected is VTT, right? And look at the visual right now. You have a direct representation of your data over here on these two visuals, and your graph is also filtered accordingly. Now, this is a feature, again, a very basic feature of filtering that is made available. Now, one cool thing about Power BI that I wanted to bring up over here is this filter is only acting on this particular page, right? So we have this page one. These are called report pages, right? So a report has multiple different pages. So this report we are currently on page one, right? But what if, let's say a scenario, you wanted to filter something out. You wanted to filter product here, and that product filter should have been activated in report page one as well, or report page two. Right, so you do have these type of contents or these type of scenarios come up. Power BI lets you do that as well. It's as simple as syncing filters, right? So one of the easiest way that I'm going to show you right now is just copy this filter over here, or the slicer over here, come back to report page 2, and just paste it here. Again, this is just one way that I'm trying to show you at this point. But if you do that, you have this option of syncing. You can just simply sync, and then straight away, as in when you change data. So if I come back to page 1 and I change data to, let's say, Montana, let's change this to here, and let's go back to report page 2, and straight away you have the same filter being applied, right? So again, this is just very small feature that I'm bringing up over here. This is again called global level filtering. It is interactive in nature. Power BI lets you play around with it. You can go ahead and you can go ahead and utilize it any way you want to. Now, enough of these particular content. Yes,
so Saurabh is asking what is KPI. So KPI is key performance index, and it's something like sales, profits, market share, on which your performance is evaluated, if I want to make it that way, or any measure which is important from the point of view of the customer, and something which you're expected to perform, and that particular measure is known as the KPI. So yes, anything you'd like to add, you can add.
No, sir. You're absolutely correct. So yes, there's nothing much to add on to that. Don't worry, we'll talk about one of the KPIs on this sales data in just a couple of minutes. I actually wanted to quickly move on to the drill down feature, right? So there was one of the participants who brought up drill down. Is it available in Power BI? Yes, it is. Now let me show you this particular feature on a new page, right? And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to bring up a simple bar chart, and here we're just going to drop in country, and at the same time we'll drop in profits, right? Let's just start simple, and let me just expand this so it's visible to everyone. No one has to stick to the screen for too long. Now, What we are going to do over here is, let's say there is a scenario, right? You want to look into what are the different profits in sorry, for different countries, what are the profits. Now for the lowest profit country, you want to look into which product is the lowest, right? Which product within, in this particular example, it is going to be Mexico. It has the least amount of profit. Which product under this country is having the least amount of profit, right? Let's just say that is a question that comes up from the client. Now the first thing that we end up doing is, okay, this is what the client wants. What we're going to do is we're going to create another graph, and now under this graph what we're going to do is drag and drop in product, and then we're going to drag and drop in profits, and now I'm going to select Mexico. Right now, this is what I'm going to see here, right? And just by looking at this, I can say it is way low, correct? Now, what if I say under this product, which is a segment as well? There's another categorical variable called segment, which is a segment where you're earning, or where you have the least amount of profit. Now, again, the next thing that you do is, okay, let's create another bar chart. Under this bar chart, we'll drag and drop in profits. We'll drag and drop in segments. All right, now you'll be like, okay, Pranay, wait, enterprise is at negative, so that means we had a good amount of loss over here, right? So this is the issue area, or let's say the bottom three are going to be your channel partners, mid-market, and enterprise, right? So this is something that you came up with at this point, correct? Now, what if I explain this to you, that you don't have to actually do this manually? So you don't have to click on Mexico, you don't have to come again and click on Velo, and then come again and look into which is the lowest earning segment of it. See, if you look at this, it's very hard to see these numbers, right? Because they're so low. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create just one graph. I'm just going to use this bar chart, right? I'm going to just hover over it, and I'm just going to utilize this particular bar chart, and I'm going to try and explain all of these different features. Or actually, let me just delete it. Otherwise, it's just going to pop up from time. Let me just delete this and delete this. So what did we have? We had products and segments, right? Now, what I will have to do to create a drill down feature is simply drag and drop. It's as simple as that. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to drag and drop in products under country under country products. Now, what do we need next? Segment. I'm going to drag and drop this under products. So we have country, product, and segments, right? If you look at the graph, nothing has really changed, right? Nothing major has happened. Now, how do you drill down? Pranay, you have only one chart. How does it explain all of this country? Now, in this scenario, we want to deep dive into Mexico, correct? So what we are going to do is utilize a feature over here. So you have the drill down options on top. So what you're going to do is just select this and drill down on Mexico. So now I'm just going to click on Mexico, right? Nothing, I'm not right clicking, I'm not pressing any key, I'm just clicking on Mexico. Once I do that, my visual automatically drills down to this particular level, which is product by sales or profit, sorry, products by profits. Straight away, I can see Velo is the lowest earning profit. Now, under Velo, I want to see what are the segments where I had the least amount of profits. So I'm going to select Velo at this point. And straight away, I get a drill down content of what are the different segments, right? Segments, look at this. Segment is the third level. What are the different segments for Mexico and for the product Velo, right? It's as simple as just clicking on this. Now, what if you say, okay, wait, Pranay, maybe I want to see another product. What do I do now, right? Do I press escape? Do I do something else? No, all you have to do is just select this button. You drill up, you go back to the previous view. The previous view is, this is the product view for the country Mexico. Now, if I want to select VTT, let's select VTT. Now, this is the distribution of the segments for the product VTT. It's as simple as just simply clicking on these particular visuals. Right? So if I click on Germany, I can drill down. I can click on Velo, I can drill down to segments. So yes, drill down is possible. And let me show you one more example, And again, I know I'm spending a lot of time here, and I definitely want to, because again, as many of us over here, we compared this particular content with our Excel experience or our experience with any other BI tool. And don't worry, it happens. It happened with me as well. When I started learning Power BI a couple of years back, I face the same thing. I had questions. Okay, wait, I could do that in that particular tool. Does it happen here? One key question that will come up over here from everyone is, Pranay, can you do a pivot table? Is that possible? Yes, and you will actually understand the beauty of it in this particular example over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a matrix. Again, if you don't get it, don't worry. You will see the resemblance very soon. All right. Now, what I'm going to do in matrix is, it's as simple as you can have categorical variables on your rows and at the same time on your columns, right? So what does that mean? Let's say in this particular scenario, let's look into the same drill down scenario over here. I'm going to drop in countries in my rows, and I'm going to drop in profits as well, right? Nothing major, a simple table comes up, right? This table was used to create this visual, the one that you see on top over here, right? Nothing major, nothing, too impressive, right? But what happens now if I drag and drop in product under country? Once you do that, drop it. So you drag and drop in product under country. Once you do that, you see this particular icon come up, this plus icon come up, right? You do see these drill down options, but let's not do that. Look at these plus icons. This helps you further segregate your data. So under Canada, you have the product wise product wise distribution for profits made available. It's as simple as that. Now, if you select Germany, yes, you have the data available. Now you might say, Pranay, what happens if you drop in segments? Does it crash? Well, no. Another drill down happens over here. Now you can further drill down. So if you see peso, not selected, but if I actually go ahead and click on the plus icon, I can further drill down from or to this particular level. Now, why did I talk about pivot table? Well, what if I don't bring my segments here? I drag and drop in my segments under columns. What happens then? I hope a lot of you are able to figure out the pivot table that we used to create on Excel, the very famous pivot table that we utilize on Excel. That is as simple as dragging and dropping content on this particular table or on this particular platform. Right? All of this is very easy to utilize, very easy to view, and very simple to navigate and create as well. Right? Now, this is the key advantage when you go ahead and utilize Power BI. It's just simple drag and drop. Just click, drag, drop, click, drag and drop. That's all. So we haven't used our keyboard until now, right? The only time I used my keyboard was when I went to Google and typed how to download Power BI, right?
Yes.
That's the only time I had used that.
Yeah. So
Yes,
Naren is asking, can you please explain what is pivot? And we have Vivek Gurala asking, how many multiple regions are we allowed to add in a single graph?
Oh, great. That's a great question. I'll start off with the pivot table. I'll just give a brief introduction. A pivot table, in a sense, you can have multi-layered matrix being created, as in, if you look at this particular table over here, you have one categorical variable here. Let me just clean this up, right? Let me just quickly clean this up. If you look at this, you have a distribution of your data, right? You have a distribution of a categorical data here on this particular axis. You see countries over here. Now, what do you see on the right side? You actually see the profits. Let me delete this for now. You see the profits for these countries. But what if you wanted to see for each country, what is the distribution along with another categorical variable, right? The one way to do that would be the row level drill down feature, which is again, we drag and dropped in product. So for Canada, under Canada, see the total profits in Canada is 35, right? But under this, how are the different products distributed? This is with the help of a pivot table over here. So we did this with the help of a bar chart above, and now we are doing it using this particular table, a, a simple matrix table that has been created by just clicking and dragging and dropping. Now, what if you say, Prana, I don't want to see it over here. I actually want to see it on the top axis, right? I want to see it as different columns. What is the profit distribution for Canada for all of the other products? I can just simply drag and drop in products under this particular section. Now the same value, the 35, this is approximately 35 million. Oh no, this is 3 million, right? 3.5. So this 3.5 is divided, right? Just look into this. This is divided into these different product sections. So these products for this country all together add up to 3.5 million. So this is how you create a simple matrix or pivot table, right? Now there are different ways you can make it, or you can make it further complicated. Definitely you can go ahead and do that, but I'll advise you to stick to a storyline, right? A storyline is basically how a customer needs to go ahead and view the data or read the data. It shouldn't be very complex, right? See, if I show you something highly complex over here, all of you are going to be like, okay, Pranay, what the hell are you doing? I do not like this. I do not understand anything. I'm going, right? All of you will, you will not be able to understand it quickly. So storyboarding would be a sense of making the end user easily understand what is happening in the data. Now, to answer the second question on how many layers of drill down you can have, well, you can go ahead and test it out. You can actually have n number of layers made available. I would honestly advise you to please stick to just 3 or 4, because anything above that, you're just making your model complicated, right? No one likes complicated. Yes, you do have the feature available to make your presentation complicated, but no one likes complicated content, right? Everyone wants simplified view, a simplified or simple or easy to understand view made available, right? So yes, to answer your question, you can have n number of categories made available. In terms of an advice, I would suggest you to stick to just 2 to 3 different layers of drill down. That's something that I advise. Yes, there have been scenarios where I have used 6 layers. Again, those were use cases where I was required to, but it's not always necessary. Okay. All right. If you have any other questions, go ahead. See, we are open to go ahead with different questions, no matter how how simple you think it might be, or one thing that we all say, there are no dumb questions, right? Go ahead and ask as much as you want. During the entire training sessions, we make sure that each and every member is going ahead with actual practice. So we do all of our training in this particular manner, right? We go ahead, we open Power BI, we show everyone, and we ask them to do it along with us as well. So if you have any questions, any doubts, go ahead, jump forward. You can type on your chat on the Q&A section, and definitely we'll go ahead and answer as many as those as possible. Okay. That being said, I'll go ahead and talk about 2 more features. Again, yes.
So just because some people are asking that question many times, so all the recordings are definitely available completely free of cost. After the session, we will be sending you the link, and also you can watch it on YouTube. It's live YouTube, so you can watch it on YouTube as well. And yes. I think that clarifies that question. And some of the other questions which have also appeared are, which you can answer later on as well. What is better? Is it to read from Excel or directly from the database? And and some people are asking how many days. We have 5 days of training program, and 5 days of training. And yes, we'll be telling you how to register for that. And so as we mentioned that this whole training is more for hands-on experience. When you're joining our session in the for the 5 days program, this is more like hands-on, and also we'll tell you what are the topics covered in a short while. But let us first carry on with the getting introduced to the great features of Power BI.
Sure. Okay, perfect. Let's quickly jump on to another feature. Now, again, if you look into this particular content, these are different report pages. Each has a different visualization. Again, your actual reports won't really look like this. Don't worry, this is just for the demo purpose. During the training sessions, we'll actually be creating reports, right? We'll be creating actual analysis and deep dive reports. So definitely something that will be very helpful. Now, in terms of report pages, again, this makes your life much easier, right? So what do I mean by this? Yes, you can pile in all of your visualizations into one particular page, right? Just squeeze them into one. Is there any point of that? No, right? There's no way your customer will just look at it and be able to actually deep dive and understand what's happening in your data, right? Why do I keep saying deep dive, right? Why am I saying deep dive? Pranay, why don't you just create a report, write some text below and say that, okay, this event is happening because this went down, or this issue happened, or this value went down, right? Well, what's the point of automation then, right? If you go ahead and create such form of analysis each and every time your data is being refreshed, it becomes a tedious work, right? And in terms of management, right, let's move on to the management field right now. In terms of management, the majority of the management team have only one thing in mind, which is questions, right? They just have questions. Why did this happen? What happened? First of all, why did it happen? How is it continuing? Why is it continuing, right? There's so many things that happen. Is it happening because of that? Is that happening because of this, right? There's so many other questions that come into play, and all of these are not answered on static visualizations, on static data sets. And I'm sorry, Amitabh sir had actually pointed out one question on whether it is easy to look at the data from Excel or databases, right? See, viewing data set is a completely different thing, right? First of all, you need to understand why you're pulling in that data set, right? So understand it as a lake, right? A simple thing about a data lake. Just understand it as a lake. A lake is a collection of data, and assume you have a company and you have a complete lake filled with data. Now, if I ask you one question, right? What is happening to your XYZ department? What happens? Right? You have to jump into that lake, you have to search for that data, you have to pull out that particular data, and then you can give me the answer. Correct? Now, what you are referring to is how do you view the data set? That's going to be something that we'll talk about in these sessions. In terms of what makes it easy, it all depends upon what type of data you're accessing, right? So if you are a data engineer, basically if you're working with raw data every day, right? If you are making changes on the data, if you're cleaning the data, definitely you will have your own preferences, right? If you work with SQL, you will be sitting on SQL servers. If you are working with Excel files, you will be you'll be sitting with different Excel files. It all depends upon how you are going to utilize that data, right? At the end of the day, once you collect the data, you have to do something on it, right? It's not just going to magically give you analysis, correct? So Power BI, yes, it helps you understand your data. It helps you clean, automate your data, which we are going to talk about in some time. But in terms of viewing the data, it all depends upon your different preferences. All right, now let's come back over here. When we were talking about different different ways the management have questions and how they want to reason out of how you as a developer or you as a Power BI expert will go ahead and provide that form of analysis, right? So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a simple KPI card. Now, again, we are not going to spend a lot of time here. There are a lot of things that happen at the back end, but I'm going to give you a as simple explanation as possible. Let's jump onto a KPI card. Now, first thing that you see over here are two different filters. You see a table, but you see this particular segment over here, right? You see this. Now, you might be asking, oh, Pranay, okay, all right, where do I click to get this, right? That's definitely the question that, I would have asked myself as well. But if you actually look at it closely, this is not one visual. This is a collection of three different visuals, three different type of visuals. This is a pie chart. This is a bar chart, and these are simple cards. Cards are nothing but just, they just understand it as a poster, right? It just displays some value, right? So these are cards. This is a pie chart, and this is a bar chart, right? Just by looking at it, this is just something that we understood, and we have some form of background as well, right? Now, Pranay, is this a picture? It's not. Don't worry. This is not a screenshot. This is actually a visual. Now, let's understand what's the purpose of this visual, right? Now, in our current scenario, what has happened is our management is asking, what is the comparison of our, what's the comparison of the profits when you're comparing it with this year and last year? What do I mean by that is, let me just quickly arrange this. Yeah. Now, the basic question is, in 2021, what are my profits? That's the first thing I want to know. In 2021, my profits are under this particular column. So you do see it color coded. Don't worry. A lot of you might have actually already realized what has happened, but just imagine that, you don't have any color code here. I'll explain what this color code is in a bit. Now, over here, you have the total profits that are made available in 2021. Now, what do you want to capture? You want to actually capture what were the total profits made for each of these countries in 2020, right? You have it for 2021. You want to capture it for 2020. How do you do that? Well, the first thought that we have, again, in Excel, it's very easy. You filter out, you copy, you paste it to another sheet, right? You're done, correct? Now, you filter out 2021, you copy paste the profit, and you're done. Now you can just simply create a simple filter, or you can not even a filter, you can just create a simple formula to say, if my profits are higher, then it should be this. If my profits are lower, then it should be that, right? But in Power BI, you need to make sure that you are automating things, right? You don't have to make a one-time rule. You don't make a one-time visual. You want to automate that process. So what has happened over here is, we have created some form of content, or we have utilized one feature of Power BI to go ahead and color code our total profits this year and last year by comparing them. We are comparing, if the total profits last year was greater than the total profits this year, then it should be highlighted as red, right? That means last year I made more profit. This year I'm at a loss as compared to last year, right? So then it is highlighted as red. If I made more profit, if I made less profit last year and I'm making more profit this year, then it should be highlighted as green, right? I made more profit, correct? So that's good, right? So that's the basic analysis that we have done over here. Now in Excel, or if you're going ahead and playing with the raw data, you would simply filter out data once, 2021, 2022, and then create this particular rule, and then just, that's it, you're done. That's a simple analysis that you have done. But here, what we have done is we have automated this for the entire data set. Now I'm going to talk about multiple features coming in over here. Just hold on. Before that, if you notice, we have actually done this on a month by month level. And yes, this is possible on a day-to-day level as well. It's all up to how you want to utilize that feature, right? So over here on a month-to-month comparison, along with a year-on-year comparison. So this is what this particular table is representing, and the same representation is being done on this particular graph on top. So this is a bar chart on different months. So this is Jan, Feb, March, April, and so on. So if you see Jan, Feb, March, April, and so on, right? All of these months are being represented over here as bar chart. The green line, as I explained, you have more profits made this year in the month of Feb, in the month of April, and so on, as compared to last year, Whereas Jan, March, and so on, you have made loss as compared to last year. Now, what if I select, let's say 2017, right? I'm just randomly selecting 2017. What happens here? If you select 2017, what ends up happening is Power BI automatically does this calculation for you. You don't have to go ahead and filter out 2017, select that, go ahead and create this formula. Power BI does all of that for you in one shot. If I select 16, if I select 15 and so on, it automatically does this. Now, what if I select 2010? Well, you don't have the data available for the previous year, right? So the previous year by default is being suggested as 0 or blank, and that's why everything shows up as positive. But if you select 2011, right, 2011, you have the data for 2010. So this is the data for 2010. This is the data for 2011. You're comparing that and you get the output. Now, how is this being done? Well, we are not going to get into the, the detailed version of this over here, but the basic principle over here, the basic feature we are utilizing here is DAX. DAX stands for Data Analytics Expression. Now, if you have ever read about Power BI, you would have definitely heard about DAX. DAX is DAX is a very, very important feature when it comes to your analytics in or deep diving in Power BI. What is a function of DAX? Well, DAX are simple formulas that are utilized to further drill down or further investigate into your data. They perform certain actions based upon the conditions you define. Now, again, it might sound very complicated. It's as simple as if-else formula, right? You have an if-else formula, a very simple formula, right? If look at this formula over here. If my profits this year is greater than the profits last year, then it should be green, else it should be red, right? It's a very simple thing that we have done. That's what's being applied over here. Right, that's the same formula that is being applied over here, and it's a very simple formula, but a collection of these scripts has ended up making such form of complicated visuals. Now, you might ask, Pranay, how did you create this particular card? Well, I didn't do anything anything big over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this quickly in front of all of you. Just show you how simple Power BI actually is, right? I just selected a shape right now. I'm just taking this particular shape. It's just representing the same, there's the same size and content over here. Now, what's the next thing? We need the bar chart, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly drag and drop in a bar chart. Now, what do I do next? We need months on the x-axis and we need the total profits, right? Profits. So drag and drop in profits on the y-axis, and we need months. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag and drop in dates over here and change that to month, right? Just as a simple chart over here, right? Now, if I squeeze this does not make sense, right? It's very hard to read. Probably I would want to remove this labels because it is given. If I hover over this, if I want to squeeze in my view, I'll probably get rid of the x-axis and y-axis. Let's go ahead and make those cosmetic changes, right? Simple cosmetic changes, just remove the axes, remove the title, right? Just because we are creating our own visual. Now let's try to squeeze it into our liking, right? I want to squeeze it into this particular. Now, what do you do next? What you're going to do now is go ahead and change the color scheme, right? That's the very first thing all of us would want to do, right? Change the color scheme of this particular analysis. How do we go ahead and do that? Well, to do this, sorry, I'm actually using the data from the wrong table. Apologies. Let me just quickly go ahead and switch to this. And so we have profits here, and we are looking into dates, right? Again, I have created a different table just for this particular example, so that's why I actually ended up using the old out table. No worries. Now, what do we do over here is we want to change the color scheme. To do that, again, I'm not going to make things complicated. Just go ahead and utilize similar functions, right? So see, this is called conditional formatting. This is where you decide how Power BI needs to function. It's not the tool deciding how you need to use it. It's you deciding how Power BI should function. So here we are going to decide, or we are going to tell Power BI that you are going to work according to how I have defined a formula. And the formula I've defined it is as color KPI. So once you select this, you're going to click on OK, and straight away you have the color scheme that comes into it. Now, all of you might be asking, Pranay, what did you just do? Well, what I did was I defined a formula over here. And the formula is, if I just click on this, the formula is a simple statement. Again, don't worry, this might look complicated, but over a period of these sessions, all of these will be on your fingertips. It's a very simple formula. All it does is, if total profits is less than my total profits last year, then, right, if my total profits this year is less than last year, then it should be red. If my total profits is greater than last year's profit, then it should be green, right? If total profit is equal to my last year profit, then it should be red. Oh, sorry, it should be yellow, right? Just a fail safe, right? Now, this is a simple formula. Don't worry, this is why I'm not deep diving into this at this stage. But using this simple formula, I have actually created a color code. Now, all of you, if you want to ask what is this, this is nothing but a hex code, right? If you go to Google and if you just type in, let's do that quickly as well. Let me just show it to you. It's nothing complicated. There's no learning required for this. You just go up to Google and you type in a hex code, right? You just type in this particular code and you have this color palette that comes up. All of you can see this color palette on Google, right? So all you do is you can choose a specific color. So let's say I want this particular green, I want to this shade. This is the hex code that has been generated, right? So you can go ahead and utilize this particular content here. So don't worry, I didn't magically remember this, or this is not something that you have to memorize. I actually went up to Google and I just searched for a color that was suiting me, and then I just went ahead and selected that hex code. That's it. Now, utilizing DAX features, let's come back to Power BI. Utilizing DAX features, you can go ahead and create such form of visuals as well. Now, let's go ahead and create specific cards. Again, if you remember what I mentioned about cards, these are nothing but just displays, right? Just how you have your business cards, right? You would go ahead and say, all right, I'm a sales engineer, all right, I'm a manager, product manager and such. This is just going to represent that particular value. So I'm going to drag and drop in profits. That's it. It's just representing or showing me the value. There is no other function of this, just to represent or show that specific value. Now, again, obviously, I can go ahead and resize all of this, decide or go ahead and format all of this. I am not going to do that here. It's definitely time consuming, but in the interest of everyone, everyone to understand these features, I wanted to show you that all of these things that we are doing here piled up together actually ends up making such form of contents. So as per your requirement, you can go ahead and utilize Power BI. So if you just think about this, how many applications you use every day force you to use them in a specific manner, right? Let's talk about Instagram, right? I believe almost everyone might have an Instagram account, right? What does it do? If you're looking into those specific videos, you have to scroll down, right? Or scroll up to go to the next video. Those are different features that it forces you to do. But Power BI in this particular scenario does not let you do that. It lets you choose. You can go ahead and design your content. You can go ahead and format your content. It's as per your requirement and as per your, as per your ease as well, right? If you see, it has certain things made available. So for example, if you want to change the title, you can go back over here, create a title, rename the title like profits. That's it. You can do whatever you want, but it's as per your requirements. There's no hard fast rule that Pranay, you cannot write profits here, you cannot use this template and such. It gives you the entire freedom. All right, now I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. This is definitely something that we cover in the training, and we go in depth into this. We go into multiple different reasonings as well. Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, so some people are asking about dates and etc. So what I would do is I'll just put before we proceed. Of course, we've not ended the session, but before we proceed, I'll just quickly talk about very briefly uh, the the dates. And I think it's starting on 14th August. If my team can correct me if I'm not wrong. So, and also those who are interested in learning, can I share the screen? Yeah, just
Yeah, definitely. Sure.
so see what you would be learning in our. There are three levels, and you can cover all the three levels in 5 days. I would suggest rather than just going for a beginner level or intermediate level, go for the full advanced level. So in the beginners level, we cover the introduction to Power BI, tabs introduction, and data upload, Power BI tabs introduction, data sets, uploading, editing queries, then basic visualizations, formatting the visuals, supporting visuals from Marketplace. Then in intermediate level, we are talking about filters, relationships, and data source settings, and DAX as well, and Power Queries or edit queries. And in advanced level, we also talk about Power BI Web, publishing the Power BI dashboards, selection panel and bookmarks, KPI cards and tooltips, R and Python and drill down and drill through features, and designing a report. And then lots of question and answers. We also do a project. We also give you a project, and we also prepare you for the interview. But yes, any questions? Any questions on the topics covered? Just let us know before we proceed. And the link for registering the session is also given here. So yes, all the details are there. I will send you all the details after you register. We'll send you all the details uh, about how to get enrolled, etc. And if you have any questions, just
Yep, I actually see a lot of questions.
yeah,
I'll try to answer a couple of them by the time
yeah.
I again, yeah. Anything else? Sorry.
Yeah.
Again, I'm
So
sorry I stopped
I
you.
just wanted to check. I hope everyone got the link, and I think a lot of questions were there related to the registrations part. So yes, please go ahead. And if you have a poll, Naveen, just let us know in case we have a poll here. Okay, thanks. Thanks. Over to you.
Sure. Thanks. Thank you, sir. I'll try to answer a couple of questions. I'm sorry that actually 61 plus questions that are coming in. I'll just try to answer a couple of common ones that I do see, and definitely if you want to share across your questions, we'll be happy to answer them as well. Any option to refresh? Can I use multiple data sets in a single Power BI file? Is it better to input Excel data to Power BI from SQL and Python, which is better? All right, let's go one by one. All right, let's start off with can we use multiple data sets in a single Power BI file? Yes. Now this is one thing that I was actually trying to cover. What happens in Power BI is it lets you blend in with multiple data sets from multiple data sources, right? There's no restriction that you cannot access an Excel data and an SQL data at the same time. Yes, no matter what source you have, you can still utilize multiple data sets. And what happens over here is you don't necessarily have to treat these data sets independently, right? A lot of you might know about joining the data, right? Combining it into one file. You don't have to go through all of that hassle. All of that is something that you can just ignore. What you need to focus on is you'll be majorly focusing upon building a connection between data sets, relating the data sets. right? How are the two data sets related? One quick example I can give to everyone in the interest of time is, let's say you have your in your company, you have your employees data, you have their monthly review or quarterly review, right? Let's talk about quarterly review data. So you have some form of scoring that is given, right? How is your performance? How is your employees performance, right? You have that data. And let's say you have the incentive data as well, right? How much bonus should they get based upon the performance? You have two different data sets. One is sitting with your sales, oh sorry, not your sales team. One is sitting with your finance team. The other data set is sitting with your HR team, right? Now, what happens over here is in Power BI, you can pull in these two data sets and create a relationship. What is a relationship? Well, these two data sets are related by employee name or employee ID, right? Those are unique IDs. So what happens over here is you're actually working with, or you're actually relating data, right? So now you can actually use both the tables
Sorry,
as you
can you
want.
please
Oh,
share
yes.
the screen?
Yes. Sorry. That let me just go ahead and share. Until then, yes. Coming back to that question, you can create a relationship, so you can use both the tables as you like. You don't have to combine them. You don't have to break your head on how the connection is happening. It's a simple connection that will be done based upon the employee IDs. And again, definitely we have a session dedicated to relationships in the training program as well. Now, in terms of any option to refresh, and there is another question on, is the data importing data from Excel or SQL is better? Let me answer the import data one, because regarding refresh, I see another question on, can we update or replace data? Now, talking about importing data, it all depends upon your use case, right? Why are you creating a report? And if you're creating a report, what volume of data and what type of data do you have made available? As a developer, from experience, I would suggest you to have a cloud-based data. So if you're pulling in data from SQL servers, that's much easier for you to function, because if you're using a data from Excel, right, it's a slightly heavier file. And once you pull it into Power BI, you're actually importing the data. Importing basically means you're copying that data. So from Excel to Power BI, you're copying a data, right? So basically what happens is each time you add a new file, each time it copies and each time the size increases. But when you're connecting your data with servers, right, SQL servers, for example, in that particular scenario, you are not copying the data, you are linking the data, right? You're telling Power BI that go to this particular server, go to this particular location and look at that data. So what Power BI does is it then reflects the data, right? Reflecting the data is not copying the data, it's just mirroring the data, right? So in that scenario, you're actually not increasing your file size. So preference would always go to servers. If you have an SQL server, definitely go ahead with that. Otherwise, yes, you can definitely use Excel files as well. It all depends upon your use case. Now, in terms of data set, right, that is something that I want to get into as well. Now, before I talk about data set and refreshes, right, let me quickly go ahead and show you one more feature. I'll just take 2 minutes of your time to go ahead and talk about that feature. After that, we'll jump to the data question, which is again another feature in Power BI, and then we'll quickly publish the report online, and then I'll show you a couple of cool features on the web version as well. Now, report tooltip is an interesting feature where we have looked at drill down, correct? We know about, we have matrix level drill down, we have pivot tables, we have formulas, we have this and that, right? What if you have a certain requirement where you want a visualization to be created based upon a category? For example, under profits by country, you see this particular visual, right? Nothing majorly interesting about this, right? You have simple countries and you have their profit values. But if I hover over France, now I can actually further understand how my discount by products is being distributed. For each for each product, how much discount or what is the discount amount that was paid, right? Sorry, how much was the discount amount that was given, right? I'm sorry, I use the word paid here, but yes, what's the discount amount? If I hover over Germany now, I can actually automatically update that particular visual. If I hover over Mexico, it automatically changes. Now, I am not creating multiple filters or multiple visuals, sorry. And at the same time, I'm not creating drill down. I'm not clicking on anything. I'm just hovering over this, right? And it automatically changes. Now, let's say we go ahead and do that for profits by segment, right? If you're doing the same thing over here, the same content, the same visual that we had over here is being represented here as well. And the same goes for, the same goes for the above visual as well, where you have profits by. And it changes as you go ahead and hover over different content. And all of this is happening automatically. Now, why am I showing you this? Well, there are multiple key advantages when we utilize such form of tooltip features or visuals within a visual, right? The reason why we use this is we are going to link it back to KPI cards. You remember this card? We just spoke about this card, right? Why did we create such a small card? Well, this particular analysis, the year-on-year analysis of profit, can now be linked to these visuals. Now I can get that same KPI card as this particular tooltip. Now where it shows discount amount and discount by products, it can actually end up showing you the KPI distribution or KPI cards as well. So just try to imagine how deep you can get into your data by using this particular feature, right? So again, how we do this, where we do this from, all of this is very smooth. You don't use any formulas. You don't do any form of major technique. You don't install anything. You don't do much. It's just simple. And let me just explain this. This is just happening by 5 to 6 clicks of your mouse. Just 5 to 6 clicks and you have such features made available on your reporting as well. Right? And I hope you're able to relate how you can deep dive or how we are deep diving into our analysis or into our presentation. Just a simple data now we are making it a little more complicated by this particular view. All right, now we have close to 15 minutes. Let me just quickly show you and answer couple of questions. One, again, those questions are more related on how are you making changes on the data, viewing data and such. This is another feature made available on Power BI, which is your data handling, right? So far we have just looked at one set of data, right? We had one data, we just looked at it and then we just came to Power BI. But what's the key difference? You might directly say, Pranay, all right, this is data. What's the big deal in that, right? It's just making the visualizations a little more easier to interact with, right? That's it. No, there's a very, very important catch when you're working with Power BI, which is your data set. Once you link your Power BI desktop with a specific data set, as and when your data is updated, what do I mean by that? Let's say today you have week 1 data. Tomorrow you might get week 2 data. Day after tomorrow you might get week 3 data, right? Let's assume that's happening, right? You're getting previous year's week 1, week 2, week 3 data and so on, right? Or you have a day-on-day data set, right? There are a lot of processes that download data set on a daily basis, right? For example, call centers, right? If anyone here has actually worked in a call center, you would actually realize the volume of data that we create on a daily basis is insane, right? Now, how do you manage that? A lot of us create simple macros. We go ahead and use specific scripting algorithms and such, right? What's the disadvantage there? You need a resource that actually understands it, right? Here, just by simply uploading the data, you have actually ended up automating the refresh mechanism as well. What do I mean by that? Today, let's assume you have received yesterday's data, right? Now, tomorrow, when you receive another data set, right? You're receiving another data set, all you have to do on Power BI is go ahead and refresh. Just refresh your data. Power BI will pull in the new data set automatically. What again? Let me explain that again. Let's assume today we have just 10 rows of data, right? 1 to 10. We just have 1 to 10 rows of data. Tomorrow we have 11 to 20 rows of data. Power BI, all you have to do is click on one button, and that one button will go ahead, refresh your data to the latest level. Now, if you might say, Pranay, if I'm receiving different Excel files every day, I'm not updating one file, I'm receiving different Excel files every day, you have that possibility as well. Now, you might say, Pranay, what if I'm refreshing my data every 2 seconds? You have that capability available as well. You have live connections made available. So you can refresh your data every second. Every live input will be reflected on your report. That is also possible on Power BI. And this is where things become very, very interesting and cool. Now, one question that someone had asked, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name, but one of the questions someone had asked is, okay, what if I have an error in my data set, right? What if there is a blank row in my data set, I want to replace it by something, right? What if there is a mistake that we have done in the data set and I want to rectify it? Right? The first approach everyone has, and trust me, I had the same approach when I started, experimenting with Power BI. The first thing we did was open the Excel file or open the raw data set, make the change over there. Right? Now, what's the disadvantage here? Next time I get the data set, I have to do the same step again. Right? Every time I get the data set, I have to do that manual step again and again and again. Right? But in Power BI, what I'm going to do now is, let's take one error, right? Let's assume an error over here. I'm sorry for the demo purpose. I kept the data very clean, but let's assume in our data, wherever we have Canada, right? The country Canada, it is a wrong entry and it has to be changed to India, right? Let's just assume that for today. Now, in this particular scenario, we have to make sure that every time in future, whenever we get the data set, right? So if let's say I get the data set from Amitabh sir, I know for a fact that Canada Canada needs to be replaced by India, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Let me go back to sharing Power BI, right? I hope it's visible now. All right, coming back to this. Now, let's assume there is a scenario that every time Canada needs to be replaced by India. What do I do? Well, what you have to do in Power BI is just come here on Edit Queries, right click. I'm just going to right click and replace values, right? Now, I'm just going to change this to Canada to India, right? And I'm going to hit OK. Now, first thing first, everyone would be like, okay, Pranay, that's obvious. You just replaced values. What's a big deal in that, right? It's as simple as just simply, Control F, search for Canada and replace it with India, right? Well, the catch over here is something that you might not have noticed. On the right side, you have this applied steps come into play. A new step is registered of replace value. What has happened over here is, in future, whenever you have a data that is being uploaded, the same data is being refreshed, more data is being added, right? Basic definition, more data is being added. Power BI will always make this step. It will always perform this step before pushing it to the desktop version, before pushing it to visualization. Power BI will make sure that this step is applied each time each time these contents are being, or each time the data is being updated. So the same rule applies to blanks, right? If you have a blank value, you want to replace it by, go ahead and introduce that particular segment over here as well. This, every time a blank content comes up over here, it will automatically change that. And this happens forever, as long as your data is true. As long as you have you're uploading the similar data set with the same column names, Power BI will automatically make all of those changes and and refresh your data on your report directly on the visual. So the key advantage of using Power BI instead of Excel and all of the other tools is you perform action once. You perform all of these action once, and all you have to do is just let's just say apply and close and apply. Sorry, and oh, my presentation stopped again. I'm sorry. We come back to this, and once that is done, all you have to do is in future you have to just click on refresh. That's all you have to do. You don't have to worry about any other changes again. As long as new requirements don't come up, you don't have to touch this report again. You can move on to another report. You can move on to another analysis, because this will always hold true as long as the data is true. So this is a form of automation. And if you see over here, India comes up over here instead of Canada, right? So all of this holds true as long as your data holds true. So as and when you refresh, all of this will happen automatically. Now, some of you might ask, can I do, again, let's say if I have 50 reports, I have to open all 50 reports, hit refresh, and then come back. No, don't worry. All of that is also automated. Power BI lets you automate all of that on the cloud. So that is one feature that we'll quickly cover in just 2 minutes. So I'll just stop at 55, right? So just give me 1 second. What we are going to do now is we are going to go ahead and publish a report. Publishing, again, all of this is on my system, right? All of you are able to see it because we are presenting it on a webinar, right? Where we are using Zoom to show you this. But how do you access it? For you to access it, for you as a consumer to access it, you will publish this to the cloud version. And so do you want to save the changes? Yes, we will save the changes. And what we are going to do now is we are going to go ahead and publish this report on the cloud version. Now, on the cloud version, I have a couple of different workspaces created. Don't worry. You don't have to worry about what workspaces are at this point. Once we get into the session, everything will be done for you. All of these things will be created by you, right? Everything will be done by you, and I will be guiding you through the entire process. So let's select a workspace, and now you just go ahead and publish. Right now, you might ask, Pranay, what's the average publish time? Well, depending upon the size of your data, the publish can take a couple of seconds. So if you see, it hardly took 15 seconds, right? It hardly took 10 seconds, in fact. So it depending upon the size, it can take a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes. Now, publish can happen multiple times, but you don't have to repeat this step again and again. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on this, and I'm just going to open it on the web page, right? Let me share my web page. So it has opened over there. Unfortunately, it has not moved to this particular screen. I hope you're able to see the web version at this point. You're able to see my browser. Let me just quickly check that. Yes, you should be able to see my browser at this point. Now, what has happened over here? This is the web version where now I can go ahead and share this report with whoever I want. I can type in any person's email ID and share this across with different users, right? There are a lot of different features that are further available over here, right? This is the web version. So now I won't be able to make changes, but I'll be able to use the report. I'll be able to utilize my analysis over here, right? Look at the KPI cards. I can go ahead and look into my analysis and decide what has happened. So this is where your end consumer would go ahead, or your end users or clients would go ahead and utilize these particular reports. And it's, if you notice, everything we did today was by the mouse, right? The only steps where we used, again, till now, where we have used the keyboard has been to download Power BI. Other than that, we have always dragged and dropped, used our mouse to play around and make changes on the data set. Maybe, yes, to replace the values, that's where we use the keyboard. But other than those steps, we have always used a mouse. And it's as easy as that to go ahead and utilize different features in Power BI. And now this is just, Yeah,
and that also answers many questions. People had asked that I don't have any background in IT, or I don't have any previous background and working in such systems. So can I do the course? So the answer is a big yes.
Definitely.
because you would be guided, and those who already have got beginners level understanding, they can even join it for advanced and intermediate levels. And also, just to tell you that we also have very, very popular Lean Six Sigma training, yellow belt, green belt, black belt, master black belt, project management training. We are very pretty famous for that, and AI and data science. So all these certificates are going to take you to the future, and these are the skills which are not going to die so soon, because as they say, many of the jobs which are there today will not be existing after 10 years. But definitely the kind of certifications which provide AI, data science, Power BI, Lean Six Sigma, Green Belt, Black Belt, Master Black Belt, and project management, and CPHQ as well. Those who are interested in the healthcare quality, we do that as well. So once again, we would like to invite you. We would like to invite you to our sessions, and I understand that the 2 hours are over, so I'm just formally closing. But we'll be here to answer your questions for sure. So don't worry, we are not going away. But those who would like to, like I think some people generally, have the time restrictions for them. We are cordially inviting you. Just click the link and register for the course. Yes, Pranay, continue. You can continue with the.
Yes, definitely. I'd like to quickly take up the question on licensing. I'm sorry we weren't able to bring up that particular topic. In terms of licensing, just a quick heads up, there are 3 forms of licenses available in Power BI. One is going to be your Power BI desktop, which is a free license. Everyone can use it. The only restriction here is that you need to have a Windows OS. Now, yes, it is possible to utilize this on Mac. It's a little lengthy procedure to do it on Mac, but definitely it's beneficial if you have an Windows OS made available. The second license is a pro version, and the third license is an enterprise version. So we will talk about all of this in detail when we go ahead with the course procedure, because there are a lot of different features. So what we have covered today is just the tip of the iceberg. There are a lot of different features that are yet to be covered, and all of this will be mentioned in or will be covered in the training program. So if you recall from what Amitabh sir, when he was walking us through the course agenda, you had R, Python, you had all of these contents come up, right? So there are a lot of other features that are made available on Power BI. Now, again, as Amitabh sir had mentioned, you do not require any prerequisite for this course. The only thing that you need is a desktop or a laptop. That's all you need. Rest all will be covered during the training program, and everything will be taught from scratch. So the webinar that we have done today, this is exactly how we'll be going ahead with the training. We'll stop in between, we'll have question answers, we'll make sure all of your doubts are cleared, and then move on to the next topic. And everything is going to be a hands-on learning, right? So all of this is going to be actual demo. All of you will have the files, you'll have the data set, and we will ask you to practice and at the same time do certain contents during the session. Even the publish report will be refreshed for every new changes in the data, and does the changes reflect in the shared files as well. All right, so there is a catch over here. Now each time your data changes, the refresh on the web version would depend upon the rules that you have set. So Sneha, it is all on where you're pulling in the data from and the rule that you set on the web version. So if you recall the publish part that we had done, right, and then I had changed my screen to the web version, you have certain rules that you can apply on that particular platform as well. And you can set up a rule that, let's say, every day at 12 a.m. my refresh should happen, right? Or every time my data is changing, right? Even if there's one row that is added or one row that's deleted, my report should reflect that. Or every second, irrespective of whether my data is changing or not, every second my data should be updated. All of these rules can be set up on the online version. So all of this is just simple clicks over there as well.
And
So
if you can you please share the screen?
No, I'm just trying to answer the questions, not
Okay.
anything specific to that here. How can we get free desktop license? Again, you don't need a license for this. It's just a free version. Just go to Google, type in Power BI, download Power BI. You will be redirected to the Microsoft Power BI page. Just download it. That's it. It's just download and install. Okay. All right. Let me do it again. Let me show you my web page. Just give me a second. Let me bring that up. All right. So on this particular web page, let's go ahead and type download Power BI. Right. That's it. You just type download Power BI on Google. Once you do that, just click on the first link or the second link. So it redirects you to Microsoft's website, right? So just click on this and you can go ahead and download. So if you see Microsoft Power BI desktop, all right. I'm not interested in the survey right now, but yes, Microsoft Power BI desktop, you can just click on download, or you can go to advanced download. It'll redirect you to another page. Here you can actually see the version date. So it was last published on 21st, which is just 8 days ago, right? Last update was 8 days ago. So you can go ahead and download it from here and then go ahead with the installation. Any other question? Power BI is best or Tableau? Wow, nice question. Well, Sonu, again, it all depends upon your use case and it also depends upon your enterprise, right? So if you have an option, let's say it is your responsibility to decide whether to use Power BI or Tableau. What I can help you understand is in terms of the learning curve, Power BI is much easier to learn as compared to Tableau. In terms of visualization, Power BI and Tableau are on almost the same level, but Power BI provides you a little more flexibility when it comes to making changes or making modifications on your data or on your visualization. When it comes to data sources, it's almost the same. So in a lot of content or a lot of power, both of them are on equal terms. In certain terms, for example, data sources, Tableau is a little higher as compared to Power BI because Tableau has been in this industry for the last 20-25 years. But in terms of upcoming changes or upcoming updates, definitely Power BI has a major stand. And that's why even according to the Gartner study, right? So actually, if you would like, I would bring that up. I'll show this to everyone. Just give me a second. Yes. So let me bring this up to everyone, right? So in terms of the Gartner study, right? If you actually look at the Gartner study for March 2022, Microsoft Power BI has actually been the leader in terms of the business intelligence platform. So when you're talking or when you're trying to compare the two tools, yes, they are both in BI. And in terms of the growth and in terms of the capability, Power BI definitely is the leading performer as compared to Tableau, and even as compared to Looker, Google, ClickView, all of these. Google, again, you basically have Looker and you have Google Data Studios and such. But yes, Microsoft definitely is the leader. And again, this is not my word. This is the Gartner study as of